What's up, everyone? I'm just going to jump right into it. So, I just want to speak on my experience of being celibate. Um, it's not like where everybody make it seem for real. You gotta be careful of the ones that's always trying to encourage you to do something that's not right for you. See, being celibate is actually right. Why you think nuns do it? It's something more to it, but you have to get the knowledge, you have to get the information to order to understand it, not understand it. You have to understand the purpose of it. For me, it helped me control my energy, but also, you know, people was utilizing my energy that way. They was actually building off of my energy. And, I'm aware of it. I saw it. Even when, I'm not going to get too deep into it. I spoke on it before. It was somebody that you know, I try to make something serious with them in the past, and they took what was being built, even after understanding the situation. They took it and then they got big headed on the situation. So you know, it expired. But that was what a little while ago, 2 years or something. But nah, my experience for real, energetically, it's an amazing thing for real. Now, the total purpose for it is to connect with God better. God can't connect with you if you're intertwined with certain energies that He can't intertwine with. So He's not going to communicate with you if you're connected to certain energies. That's why it all boils down. Even when you're around certain energies, yeah, He might can still communicate with you, but at the same time, or communicate with your ancestors. But at the same time, you still have to play your part. A lot of people don't see why God doesn't speak to them, or your ancestors are not communicating with you because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Your connection is not clear. If you're around individuals that's constantly pulling, uh, depending if you're one of those ones, you're going to have a lot against you. So no one around you is going to tell you exactly why they're around you. They're just going to be doing what they're there for. So that's what I learned. I didn't even know that the people that I was around was into magic, and it was like when the curtain dropped, I was like, whoa. I had to sit down on that for like mentally for a long time because it was so much being dropped on me at one time. I'm good at thinking and solving, problem solving, but I need my space when it started getting too heavy. I needed gather myself. And that's pretty much what I did. That's when I was growing right under everybody's nose. I didn't really say too much anyway. I started phasing out of a lot of stuff. And, to them, to the naked eye, they just thinking I'm just whatever, however they looked at it. But they didn't see that I was actually outgrowing so much around me. And I noticed when I started being, holding back, being celibate. Well, before being celibate, I was just holding back, and then I knew I had to step it up some more energetically. I knew it. I was creating these soul ties and whatnot, and now I'm to the point I know my energy, and I don't trust me. You ain't got to worry about coming around me. Think you gonna put on something nice, and then I'm just gonna fall for you type of stuff. Yeah, you might look nice, okay, but what's next? What's more to you? Where's your value? And to be honest, if you get tricked in a situation like that, that just means you got more lessons to learn. Doesn't mean that the devil tricked you. and all this other stuff. No, you tricked yourself because you should have been up on your game as far as your knowledge, the wisdom of what you should be doing in order to combat these type of feelings, the temptations. Now, I'm quite sure a lot of people got a lot of assumptions about me. Oh, I know this, and I'm gonna tell you straight up. I've been I've been celibate over a year. So if you hear anything about me, you got it all twisted. They got it twisted, whatever. If you believe it too, but at the same time, it doesn't matter what somebody say. It's best to actually start going to the person to get the right information. It's so easy for someone to say something about someone and then people just believe it, you know. And the sad part to me is that if you invest your time into it, then won't you just do it the right way and invest and make sure you're getting the right information, at least if you're going to invest in it. Because, that stuff can convert into karma eventually, especially if you put your mouth on somebody wrong. You speak on them and you speaking information that's incomplete or just completely wrong. So it's just best to really think about what you're saying for real. Me personally, I feel like if you on your journey, that's what you should be doing for real. If you serious about it, it ain't even about, you can do what you want to do straight up, but don't expect certain stuff. Don't expect certain stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause God not gonna reveal everything for you, and if you're not doing everything you're supposed to do in the first place, you're not gonna know a lot of stuff. If you stop somewhere on your journey and you feel like that's it, that's where it's gonna be. I mean, it's clear to me this ain't over until, and not the situation I'm in, but my journey is not gonna be over until it's over. And I don't want to like single out anybody. This is for the women and the men. You know, it's time to start practicing better self-awareness when it comes to even your sexual energy, man. Because this is not a game out here for real. I had people manifesting like fucking communities and all types of stuff off of me. So when I started being aware of my energy, when God started hipping me, and I was able to start pulling myself back together, it's like the world started falling apart on me. I'm not even lying. It was like so much coming at me because these were the people that was building off of me. Most of them, that's what it was. So now the contract is about to be broken because it was a contract made in order for them to siphon my energy and do all this and build off of me. So if I take my energy back, everything that they built is going to get taken too. And it doesn't mean for every single one of them. God show mercy. So what people are hard at or whatever. But at the same time, it's not just about that. It's about what's right. And the pressure got real, man. I'm trying to tell you. Even though I felt great. Matter of fact, I made a post how I was feeling, and it's like after that post, it was like boom, instantly they already sending stuff. They already trying to like get back in my energy. And I wasn't joking about that. Them posts that I was making, I wasn't making no videos, but I was actually going through this stuff. I was growing through it. I just felt like it wasn't no need for me to be showing my face too much at the time because a lot of that stuff was still real. It was just like heavy, heavy. Like right now, it ain't the same. This stuff is phasing. It's phasing out. But at the same time, I'm still like aware and just being mindful of how I move and what I say still. But yeah, it was heavy, especially when someone feel entitled to something that's not theirs, and now they feel like they gotta take it back. I can see, I'm a real person, man. I can see from both sides. Even though I wouldn't do anything like that, I can see if your mindset where you're at, and then you've been doing something for so long, and then all of a sudden now this shit is about to get taken or it's being removed from you. You've been attached to it because you made it yours in your mind. So now you feel like you gotta take it back. I get it, but you gotta make sense to yourself though. You gotta be real with yourself because at the same time, what you did was already wrong in the first place, and then you think you're gonna double down on it. It's not gonna work like that. You got a better chance to take your karma at whatever. If you ain't experienced it yet, take it. Move on with your life. Figure it out. That's the best. That's the best option. It's no way that you're gonna try to attack somebody or try to do something based off of what something you already did in the past, and now it's catching up. It don't make sense, man. Unless that's what your contract is, just to be a chaos agent. I had people in the past, you know what I'm saying, when they sexually encountered with me in the past, after a little bit, they get so wrapped up like it's them. That's their energy. No joke. And then when I'm out the picture and then reality starts to kick in, now you know, they try and get back around. You don't want to be back around because you recognize who, what, when, and everything else. Now they trying to plan a different way to attack you or whatever, man. Come on, man. With all that said, you should recognize the value in anything, man. It's not just about a person. You should recognize value in anything because if you misuse it and you lose it, that's your fault. The best thing to do is learn from the situation so you're not repeating it. You're not entitled to anything. You're not in control of anything. That's the big mistake right there. When you have in your mind that you're gonna do something a certain way and that's just it. You fooling yourself. You're not fooling God. You're not fooling anybody else. You might fool somebody, and it probably worked in the past because if it didn't, then it wouldn't be still occurring the way it does. To think that you can. Well, enough of that though. You gotta be honest with yourself nowadays. Like seriously, this is not a game, man. This shit should have been going on for a long time. Just being honest with yourself. Especially you get around certain people that they don't even care if you're honest with yourself. They'll feed you nonsense. They lost themselves, so keeping you where they at or lower, it's right up their alley. They feel better about themselves. Let your inner self start speaking, and then you outgrow them. You're gonna find out who they are real fast, real fast. I mean, God told me that everybody that was around me wasn't necessarily bad people, but it was to the point that if I was to try to go around them, they were still connected to that person, this person, that was involved in a lot of stuff. The plots and the schemes and whatever. So, their heart, even though they're good people, they gonna see it as like, okay, well, I don't think they're gonna do this and that to them. They might do something behind your back and try to bring you together with somebody and cause a problem. So, with all that said, you just got to remove yourself completely. You can't have an option when it comes to that. You just got to remove yourself. I know it was some solid people that I was around, but they were still attached to certain people that I couldn't be around no more. Oh, trust me, I, when God removed me, I was already asking about this, that, who this. So He told me everybody who they were, even if I never addressed them personally. But I don't know, man. Protect your energy though, even not just sexual energy, but overall, especially the women, man, because God speak to y'all mainly, like mostly the women, and I see it's a lot of growth. Things are changing majorly. I could see it, but me personally, when I'm out in public or whatnot, I could feel it. That's what I'm saying. But I'm overly protective when it comes to women and kids. I'm protective of people, period. But women and kids, man, I ain't gonna lie, that get me going like that. Like I don't want to see nothing crazy. I'm gonna be honest. I seen a situation recently, a guy in the store, and it was like, God got a weird way of testing me sometime, man. I'm gonna be honest. So the guy was in the store, and he's like, it's pouring down raining outside. He comes in, he's like yelling at his little kid. Why did you come? Why did you come in the store? I told you to stay in the car. So I'm looking, like it caught me and the other guy in the store, caught our attention. We looking. He just kept going. When your ass get home, you're on punishment and this and that. It's like thunder and lightning pouring down, raining hard outside. This little guy, little boy was probably like, he had to be like about 5. So I'm thinking naturally he probably was scared. So, his siblings already came in the store without them, the father and the other little one. So I think he was just scared. So he followed his father in the store. And then they came out, he get to yelling at all of them, man. I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I'm like, God. Because I was just talking about, how I am about, those type of situations. So I'm just trying not to say anything because I don't get involved in people's business, But when it comes to, like, long as he not hitting them or anything like that, doing anything crazy to the point I feel like I got to say something, I don't get involved in other people's business, man. Even though sometimes it will hurt, but if you're doing something I feel like it's very like, you know, abusive type of energy, then I gotta do something about that. I can't sit there and just watch that. I'm gonna have to say something. Something gotta happen, man. Cause maybe that's a telltale sign right there. But he was going off. I don't know what could have probably occurred before they came to the store. Maybe something occurred before that. But he was flipping out. And I'm just looking like, man, they some little kids, man. Like, what the heck? I did say something like, something need to change in his energy or something. He need to learn something. God, he sent him a lesson so he can wisen up. Cause he carrying on with them kids the wrong way, man. And you don't see how they can grow up and be a certain way based off of how you treated them. Don't think about any of that. All you thinking about is what you gotta do. You gotta go to work, and I'm paying the bills, and da 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 da. No, that's not it. Yeah, you paying the bills and that, but that was the option that you chose to have kids and everything else too. So at the same time, you got to be mindful of how you treat them, how they feel. You got to be mindful of these things so you're not damaging them. 9 times out of 10, most people are damaged, so they just pour it out onto the kids. That's why I feel like, you know, people probably should start like before you get into a real relationship, just to make sure that you're serious or everything is serious. Actually, go to see a counselor or something, you know. And it's not. It's just to so y'all can open up deeper in front of each other. You know what I'm saying? So you can really know what you want to deal with and not. That's how I feel about it as far as counseling. But also counseling before you have a kid. I think everything should be prepared before these decisions are created. To be honest, that's where the structure had failed for real. Because before it was structured, it was a lot more structured. Not saying that everybody's doing the same thing. People are structured out here, definitely. But a lot of this stuff failed. Which you can see through the kids nowadays, and it's not their fault. It's only their fault once they get to an age of understanding themselves and actually accepting themselves as an adult is when they need to figure it out themselves. So now they're held accountable for what they're becoming, not what happened, but what they're becoming. But also they still need some type of guidance to help them see that, not just you know well, you knew better and that's it. Nah, sometimes, man, this pain gets a little deeper than what. If depending on how your mind operate, it gets so deep to the point, your feelings will get blocked. It'll create a monster for real. That's why I say don't let nobody rob you, feeling like you gotta like block your feelings based off of your experiences. Don't rob yourself. But nah, I think if you having trouble in your situation, if you involved with somebody or whatnot, it's just good to practice celibacy anyway. To be honest, God not even man. Let me get down to the facts of this. Depending on who your bloodline is, you don't even supposed to be fornicating with just anybody in the first place because it messes up the blood ties, the connection of the person that you actually supposed to be married to or actually with. And I'm not talking about married paperly. I'm talking about spiritually. This paper stuff that was made by man. I'm talking about spiritually. That's the real marriage. That paper stuff, that was just a way to actually so they could tax you and everything else. You know, you can still get your name on the paper, but if it's name in the system a certain way now, they could do certain things because of your marriage. That's another story there. But I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Uh, Stay focused out there. If you feel guided to be celibate, then do that. Actually, that's like battling one of the temptations within inside you. So that's a test. And I recommend that you go through every test to test who you are. Because until you go through these certain tests, you're not going to know exactly what you're capable of doing to better yourself or the decisions that you will make when something is presented to you a certain way. 100%. That's why people are so easily bribed to do certain stuff because they never was tested to that point. They never worked on these skills to actually, separate these temptations, the lust or whatever. So when something's tempting and someone can use something against you a certain way or bribe you a certain way, then you're gonna fall for it because you don't know any better. It's all about moving in honor. That's what make you honorable for real. When you stand on what you saying, you know, I'm not gonna mess with this. I'm not gonna do that. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you stand on it, that's what make your honor mean something. Trust me, even if people don't recognize it, they're not giving your praise or whatever, God see you. You just gotta pay attention, and you'll see the stuff around you. God gonna reward you in certain ways to let you know that He's paying attention. Until next time, y'all have a good day, good night, good evening.